Ladies and gentlemen, coming down the aisle, three of the baddest dudes in the podcast industry. First, hailing from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the money man, Scotty D. And his partner, straight out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, the almighty B-Live. And their partner, currently residing in Cleveland, Ohio, by way of the great state of South Carolina, the HOC, head of creative, Eddie Cool. Collectively, they are better known as the WrestleBros. Hey, what's going on? Guess what, y'all? We are back again, and guess what this is? This is an impromptu edition of the WrestleBros Podcast. All right? You got me here, the HOC, the head of creative, Eddie Cool, and my tag team partner.
Yes, sir. Your boy, the almighty B.
Man, son. Good logs. He's singing with it.
Ah!
And the crowd goes wild.
I want you to piece that together because that's going to be part of my promo package when I'm coming for Michael Buffer's job.
Hey, man, I got you covered. Hey, man. Hey. Hitting the masses. But the masses were not there for WrestleMania 36 this weekend. It was so big that you had to split up in 2 days. I'm pretty sure people are asking, like, oh, well, why did they not mention anything about COVID-19 and coronavirus? I'll tell you why. Well, I'm going to give you some three-letter words and acronyms. ABC, CBS, ESPN, Fox News, and any other news outlet. They are talking about coronavirus. You know the numbers. You know what's going on. The president's talking about it. Your local government's talking about it. Some states have been quick and swift about keeping people inside. And some states, South Carolina, have been real slow. Yeah, I just did that. My home state. Being slow. Always the last. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the distraction that was WrestleMania 36. And Be Live, WrestleMania 36 was different.
Yeah, definitely different. It's one of those things where what can you do in a short period of time when the whole world is turned upside down? For those that, for wrestling enthusiasts, you know how important crowd participation is when it comes to the entire feel of wrestling. It's a performance. It's entertainment. So when you don't have the crowd to feed off of, you're literally going off of just, you're going all the way back to square one. Where you're practicing, you're perfecting your craft, but you don't have anything to feed off of. So that changes the outlook on a lot of things. You don't get the effects of the hot tag or the your countdowns or the yay, boo, yay,
yeah.
Like it's so much goes into that, and it adds to the experience. You don't have the chance. You know, like those not only are those essential. Yeah, throw that essential out there.
Hey,
but it also like I said, it adds to the product. So this might sound crazy, but it's also a time filler.
Mm-hmm.
Like having that crowd reaction gives the wrestlers that additional 15 to 30 seconds to catch their breath, to continue to bring that intensity that adds to the match and everything like that. So to be able to change the script. On top of that, wrestlers that travel from across the world that can't travel, now they're not on the card anymore. Then you've got wrestlers that have their own health concerns. That we I'll go ahead and divulge a little bit. That's the reason why Roman Reigns was pulled from the card, because he has a compromised immune system due to his battle with leukemia. So for him to compete was not feasible at all. So
Nope.
he got pulled from the card. Reports show that The Miz was suffering from being sick, and he got pulled from the card. And
They said he had a fever.
He had a fever.
Yeah.
So he got pulled from the card, and he was he was a tag team champion. So he gets pulled from the card. You do one or two things. You either pull that tag team, or you pull one member from the other two tag teams, and that's where WWE went with it. Where so now Big E didn't have his WrestleMania moment, and who was else? I keep forgetting which Uso was in there. Was it Jimmy or Jay that fought?
I don't know. I've been watching these guys for 10 years, and I still don't know who's Jimmy, who's Jay, who's peanut butter, who's jelly, who's left, who right. One of them there Usos over there. Okay? That's all I know.
I fought through that all throughout the match. Because quick shout out to what's it, the wrestling blurs,
yes, the Blurs of Wrestling,
the
power of positivity.
Yes, love that Facebook group. And so just talking with them, the thread, WrestleMania thread, talking with them, I was just saying that Uso, I was like, I don't know which one it is. I don't want to sound silly. And then quick shout out to our other two WrestleBros, to Big Kenny and Money Man Scotty D. Talk with them throughout the match and everything. It's always it just, as opposed to watching it by yourself. We back in the day, we used to get together and watch it all together. Like,
oh yeah, I used to pile up at somebody's house and get pizza. You got like 20 people in a small living room watching like what, a 12-inch TV. We don't give a damn. Here's $10. We knew somebody that had a hookup at Papa John's. You go on and get the pizza. Somebody go get the liquor or other party favors, if you will, and we'd have fun.
Right. So it's fun to be able to talk about it with other people and everything like that. But yeah, it definitely changed everything, and I want to give my kudos to WWE for putting together what they could. And again, it was something that gave us something to watch, gave us something to occupy our time, because man, we need it
now more than ever. Okay, B-Live. So here we go. We got night one. I'm gonna ask you a quick question, live on air. Did you watch the pre-show?
Yes, I did. I watched the pre-show day one. I did not watch it day two.
Okay. All right. So day one, the pre-show was Saturday night. We had Cesaro versus Drew Gulak on the kickoff show. Both are hella fire athletes. I don't know what they're doing with Cesaro. Start, stop, hot, cold, hot. And with Drew Gulak, they're giving him a more prominent role with teaming him up with Daniel Bryan. I think it's great. If you know your wrestling like I know your wrestling, this is all Ring of Honor right here. All Ring of Honor right here. Cesaro wins via pinfall, but he busts out a move that he hadn't did since his days in Ring of Honor. He said, what you saw tonight was a UFO. So picture this, all right? You're putting somebody up in a human torture rack, right? And then you start spinning, and around that fourth or fifth revolution, you're putting your hands behind your back.
He was bouncing a grown man on his shoulders, and back.
Yeah.
No arms, just shoulders and back. And I was like, what is this?
Cesaro is one of the best athletes in the company.
And so that was definitely something to remember. And it was a kickoff show. It's a whole hour for one match. So I mean, I didn't understand that part, but it was cool. Now the match didn't last an hour, but the kickoff show was an hour with only one match. Just a bunch of hype. You know how they do. You know how the WWE does. But I'm okay with it.
Yep, I'm okay with it too. All right, moving right along. We go into the women's tag team match. The tag team titles hadn't been defended in forever. Asuka done had like 50-11 title shots. but collectively, Kairi Sane and Asuka ain't defending them belts in a while. All right, we got the Kabuki Warriors taking an L to the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Not a bad match. It was a whole bunch of yelling.
Yeah.
It was a whole bunch of yelling, but at the end of the day, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a WrestleMania moment. Everybody's getting WrestleMania paycheck. The match wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I'm looking at the site here. They give it a B minus, which is still good. Trust me, I made a bunch of them in college, but I digress. All right, then we got King Corbin versus Elias, and Elias wins via pinfall. A lot of people don't like Baron Corbin. That's good because as a heel, you ain't supposed to like me. I'm a bad guy. I talk trash to you. I belittle you. And Elias, he's been another example of another superstar. They've been hot, cold, left, right, start, stop, do this, do that. Nope, go over here. So it was a treat to see Elias wrestle because, he comes out, sings a song, Treasure City, and El Kabong. He's with a guitar, but it was good to see him actually wrestle. Bilal, what do you think about this match?
I fell asleep.
Moving right along to the Raw Women's Championship match. It is what it is, and it was what it was. There was a spot where he fell, and they made a thud. I'm like, all right, whatever. But that match gets a C minus. The Raw Women's Championship, we got Becky Lynch, the champion, Le Champion, against the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. I think this match, it was okay. It was all right. It was okay.
Here's what I will have to say about the match. The match itself was a good match. It was a hard fought match. It was a heavy hitting match. But the way it ended, absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I was a fan of that.
It was no. Both of them are known for their submissions. Both of them are known for devastating moves. Like, you pinned her? What? I mean,
now this all started when Shayna Baszler popped up. Then she bit her,
which I still don't understand.
I don't know. Damn you, Bruce Pritchard. Well, she got bit, and then back and forth, and this led to the match in the Elimination Chamber. Spoiler alert: Shayna Baszler runs through everybody to get this title shot at WrestleMania, and they have a series of vignettes go back and forth. Shayna says a 4-letter word that you can only say after 9:00 on television, which I didn't know until I watched AEW, which they use it pretty often every week. And now we come to this. Becky Lynch driving up to the arena in a 18-wheeler truck. Why and for what? Because you ain't got nobody there to boo you nor cheer you. And that kind of, I don't want to say that took seem out of, okay, you driving a truck and silence. There's no one cheering. But I think we're gonna pick this up at SummerSlam. It ain't over yet.
Oh yeah, and that was one thing. I'm glad you definitely mentioned that because I did a lot of what happened at WrestleMania was a prelude to SummerSlam, hoping that we go back live at some point in time. Like we do have, I think Money in the Bank is the next pay-per-view that's coming up in May.
Yep, that's coming up in May. Yep, Money in the Bank.
Like right now, I'm pretty sure their contingency plan is that is not going to be a live event. I mean, I think it's too soon. Mm. It would be nice, but it would be too soon. Like we're hoping that things get back on board by the end of this month and we can return back to some type of normalcy. But again, to hold a mass event like that soon after, like you won't get the pop that you really want. So
nope.
So, but a lot of this really fell into all right, let's save some of this. We're gonna give them something,
A little taste.
We're gonna give them something. We're gonna put WrestleMania together, but we gonna when SummerSlam. I promise you, if this does pass, we're able to get back to normal life. They will WWE will go all out for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It will be dumb. Like everything that you were going to feel for WrestleMania, you will feel at SummerSlam. So. That's part of like some of the performances and everything. But like I said, again with Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler match, it looked like they were trying to. And I'm reading this article. I think we're on the same article, by the way, which is awesome. But but it looks like they were trying to bring back a classic finish from Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper. Yep, same article. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they tried it. I didn't see it. It looked odd.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of reminds me of I think we were babies when this happened. Kind of reminds me of the Ric Flair versus the Kerry Von Erich match, the Claw versus the Figure Four, and Kerry Von Erich won the world title with a backslide.
Right. Yeah, like what they come on that's what stopped Shayna Baszler was. A backward roll pin or what that was not sold well at all.
Oh man, I don't know. But
that just sort of that was the part that I had trouble with. But yeah, for the match concerned, hopefully they can rebuild some fire into this, add another element into it, and bring this back for SummerSlam because I think the match itself, the build up to the match was like, hell yeah, let's get it. I was excited to see this match, and then it ended like that, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
It went over like a fart in church, baby.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along. We got the Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. For a while, Daniel Bryan was beating the brakes off of Sami Zayn. Like if you ask me the put the phone down moment of the night, this was it. And of course Sami Zayn was accompanied by his fellow members of the Artist Collective, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Gulak was out there with Daniel Bryan as well too. And what do you know? He gets some interference. And a helluva kick from the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn retains, and Daniel Bryan, well, try again another day. That match gets a B. I like it. Yeah. I was like, okay, now I'm watching.
Yeah, I like the match. Again, it is, of course, just knowing us and how much we try to dive even deeper into what WWE is trying to do. Like, we understand the heel against the face and the back and forth, and we try to figure out what exactly is the build and the next step. I don't know what the next step is. I've still made the suggestion that with everything that they're doing with Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan, like I would think they would have much more success in the tag team realm.
Yep.
They almost look like carbon copies of each other at this point in time. And just, I think that would be a better direction for creative. But then again, I don't know. And then to watch both of them lose their individual matches and Sami Zayn retains, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really help the stock collectively as a team. All right, then we have the aforementioned the SmackDown Tag Team match, which wound up being a triple threat, which had a member of each team representing the collective team. Yeah, we got the champion John Morrison representing Miz Morrison. Hey, ho. And then we got Kofi Kingston representing the New Day, and then we have Jimmy. It's Jimmy, be live. Yes. Jimmy Uso representing the Uso.
Right. Yeah, that's what I just read it. Just like, okay, it was Jimmy. How the hell was anybody supposed to know? But I mean, but yeah, like This ladder match was everything that I thought it was going to be. They've got to do this again with both teams. They got to have the teams in it. They've got I want it to be the same exact match, a ladder match, in the way it was initially designed, because I think the way they did it with just the three guys would be would be over the top with everybody there. This was clearly the match of the night for me when it came to in the ring action. I say in the ring action because I believe there's one more match that we have not talked about just yet for day one. There's how many great days? There was two more, three more technically, but
cut them.
but this one right here, I love the way it ended. It ended in a shocking fashion. It was high risk, just putting it all on the line. This was a good match, definitely a good match.
And then to hear at one point, the ladder, Jimmy Uso was like, "That's big enough. I'll climb it." and the way it ended was unique too. You had all three, members of representatives of each team climbing the ladder, making that final ascent, and they grab the apparatus and the belts fall. And then you have Kofi and Jimmy Uso looking at each other, and what do you know? Who's on the ground? John Morrison. And the Prince of Parkour, he grabs the belt to retain the titles for Miz and Morrison. And then Kofi Kingston and Jimmy Uso getting to a classic bout of, "Man, come on, man. What are you doing? Man, come on, man. Look." Yeah, that was funny. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that match.
Oh man, what was that one thing that I think Jimmy said to Kofi? God, they were talking trash the whole match, and there was one in particular. God Almighty, where is it at? Where is that?
It was hilarious. I don't remember, but it was so many. This is like one-liner nights, like, hey, they said this, they said that, they said this, they said that. It was great. It was a great match. All right, so be live. Here we go to the P-break portion of the show, the 24/7 championship match. First of all, R-Truth is GOLD 24 karat gold. All right, he's embracing this character and he's making the most of it. When I first saw the 24/7 title, I was like, "What in the hell we got going on?" Because we got another title in an already crowded scene with a bunch of championships. Is at the point where the championships don't mean nothing, but when you put, I guess in this is the classic case of the wrestler makes the championship. Now, if you're not familiar, if you just started watching wrestling 10 minutes ago, the 24/7 championship is a light version of the hardcore championship. That's what it is. So, Rob Gronkowski, Mojo Rawley, and Truth had a scene, and next thing you know, Gronk hits body checks him with a famed forearm to the belly. Truth falls down. Gronkowski goes to the pin, and Mojo say, tosses his homeboy Gronk off of Truth. Mojo gets 1, 2, 3, and Rawley becomes the 24/7 champion. There's not too much to talk about that. I just think like it's kind of awkward seeing Rob Gronkowski in this. I don't want to say he's poorly used, but he was just dressed in that blue zebra. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. I don't get it. It's wild. Moving right along to the second of my three favorite matches of the night, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. Wow, be live. Wow.
Yeah.
They gave this a B+. Okay. It was B+. The first part of the match, it was heavy hitting, a lot of trash talking, as Kevin Owens does. The whole Seth Rollins Messiah character, it's all right, it's okay. It's just, I don't know, man. There's something about Seth Rollins where it's like, okay, because at one point he was hot, now he's kind of like Seth Rollins.
It's like I think when it comes to Seth Rollins, they keep going to the same, like, they keep going to the same wheelhouse. They keep going back to him being this traitor. Like he's a face, and he starts off as, if I'm not mistaken, when Shield first came around, they were heels, weren't they?
Yeah, heels. They were heels. They were henchmen.
They were henchmen, and they just came in roughshod and everything like that. And then they got over with the crowd, and they made him into faces. And then Seth Rollins betrays the Shield, and he's now a heel. But then he gets over with the crowd again, becomes a face, and then he's arrogant, is talking trash, and now he's a heel again. And it's like, okay, all right, hold on now. That just what? So now he's the Monday Night Messiah, and now he's got his henchmen of AOP, and he's got then he's got his disciple and Murphy. Just drop his first name, just went with Murphy.
What's your name? My name Murphy.
And the fact that this match went on without any of them involved sort of took away a little bit from it. But I think the match would have been better, possibly, if it was a steel cage match that didn't allow the other guys in it. But then again, it just ended up that the other guys just weren't there.
Yeah.
So it just went on. So I think they will that role will be revisited at some point in time where AOP and Murphy will be involved. But the match itself was freaking. I like the way it went across.
This match was good. I think KO jumping off the WrestleMania sign. I think he may slightly been influenced by New Jack. If you don't know who New Jack is, look him up. Also, be like, I'm gonna send you the link to watch the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Have you been watching that?
I was that they started with Chris Benoit and they're going with, or is that something different?
That's it. Yeah, they did a 2-part with Chris Benoit, then they did one with New Jack last Tuesday. You gotta check out season 1. You gotta binge watch. You gotta check out season 1. It's season 2. I don't know who they're doing this upcoming. Oh, they're doing a Brawl for All. Who the mess that was.
Okay.
So Kevin Owens, he must have been feeling the inspiration from New Jack. He jumping off stuff, and he gets to 1, 2, 3. That match was good.
Oh yeah, I like the way that he disqualification. And I'm sorry, I laughed way too much when Tricky took the ring bell.
Ding!
That had me rolling. I mean, just the sound that came from it was perfect. Oh, I fell out laughing. And then just for the match to get continued, no disqualification, and then Kevin Owens jumping off the sign. Like, that couldn't have been done if it was a live event, just because of the way stuff is set up. Unless they would have took him backstage or something like that. Yeah. But that was perfect. Like, that was great adaptation for how it ended up being. Like, they was like, oh well, we can't do it at Raymond James Stadium, so we're doing it at Performance Center. Oh, that would be perfect. Can we do it? Yeah, let's do it. And it worked out perfect. That was definitely a big highlight, and I definitely like the way that the match went.
I think it was smart of them to put the sign where they put it, because that way it hides the eyesore that are the empty seats. So that way, okay, there's a big WrestleMania sign. And guess what? I didn't think about the seats none at all until I looked at the day. I was like, oh, they hid the seats. Smart placing. All right. Then we have the Universal Championship match. It's supposed to be Spear versus Spear, Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, but due to Roman Reigns having a compromised immune system and not want to get sick with the COVID-19, I'm not mad at him. Don't blame him. I don't know why they was like, hey, he gonna be there. Look, we know what time it is. we're not stupid, okay? WWE, stop. Instead, we get Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. 2 minutes and 11 seconds. 9 spears and 27 power slams.
Yep, and an attempted jackhammer.
Yeah, and an attempted jackhammer that went south.
Yep, that match was exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it's very, 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 very unfortunate that Braun Strowman gains the title in that way, because so much of the WWE universe has been waiting for them to finally put Braun Strowman over. And this is how he gets over, by being a replacement for the championship match and then winning it in unspectacular fashion.
Yeah.
With no crowd. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah. What happened? Match gets a D+.
Yeah. Would not recommend.
would not recommend. But what I would recommend is the match of the night in Be Live. I would go as far to say on April 2020, a match of the year candidate. Now, here's the fun thing about this here Boneyard match, all right? If you ever watch Lucha Underground, you know they will have a cinematic feel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Then, yes, Matt Hardy himself, Broken Matt Hardy, that's pretty much all he did in Impact, forming on his TNA, made these big, elaborate Hardy compound videos. It was just an epic, a saga. And it was just Matt Hardy just doing what he does, being Matt Hardy and making stuff happen. So we couldn't get this with Matt Hardy in the WWE because I guess Vince saw the match. He was like, I don't get it. Get out. But it's funny. As soon as Matt Hardy leaves, they do the similar thing with the whole theatrical match with a boneyard match. They didn't say a graveyard match because I'm pretty sure it would be insensitive during these times. I get it. So we get AJ Styles and The Undertaker in a boneyard match. I don't think we got AJ Styles and The Undertaker. Instead, we got Alan Jones and Mark Calloway.
Oh man, it was so well put together. It's one of those things where, like, of course, on one side of it, we want an authentic match. You were in the ring, et cetera, but the way they put it together, it was the cinematic feel behind it. It encapsulated entertainment, and that match was exactly what we needed.
Yeah,
it was exactly what we needed. Like at first, I was like, "Whoa, my lord!" Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the first thing I said, "Oh, they doing the most."
I'm on the house. I was like, "What kind of match? A boneyard."
And then they got the soundtrack, the music behind it, and then they got the sound effects and the eerie feel. I'm like, well, hold on. This screamed Lucha Underground. I was like, what is going on here?
AJ Styles looking like he's straight out of Gainesville, Georgia. Okay.
But then AJ comes out of the casket. I'm like, oh. But then you bring back the American badass freaking Undertaker. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay. I could do something with this. And it just, the way it was all the way put together, it was exactly what we needed as far as entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, people that were really expecting a match from Mark Calloway, aka The Undertaker, this is what he needed. This was his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
He performs for a quarter of the year. I mean, this is what, his 24th WrestleMania?
Yeah.
And just this is exactly what we needed all the way through and through. The fireworks, the lighting, the dramatic scenery, everything. That's what we needed. We needed it.
And as Undertaker said on his special, which is like on the must-watch list items of 2020. Yes, it's a wrestling documentary, but we're talking about the Undertaker, who's been in the game for 30 plus years. A man who's kept all his cards real close to the vest and not let anyone get close to him. But now he's at this point in his career. He's like, you know what? I might as well talk about it, And as he said, sitting there in that chair, I can't do a full schedule like I used to. And it was just like a man coming clean and being honest. He's like, look, but what I am gonna do, I give these little one-offs. Think about it. This man is what, 55 years old?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, up there. Now I think he was what, 30 something, like early 30s, mid 30s when he was started with the company. Before that, he was Mean Mark Callis in WCW, wrestled in Texas for a long time. The Undertaker's logged some miles within the past 30 years, and so for him to, if you want to wrestle it once a year, that's cool. That means it's nostalgic. And hey, when the Undertaker's wrestling, let's watch this because the damn Undertaker is wrestling tonight. So I think it was well put together. I think the video was great. The match is great. All right, B-Live, that's night one. Night two of WrestleMania 36. Too big for one night. They had to cut it up in half. We got the kickoff show. Liv Morgan versus Natalya. I ain't watch it.
I didn't either.
Next. All right. we keep it real over here at WrestleBros Podcast, all right? Now, this is an impromptu WrestleMania the day after show. So take time, listen to it. We're gonna be us. Then we got the NXT Women's Championship, a match I was looking forward to. We got Rhea Ripley, the champion, the Rip, versus the Queen herself, Charlotte Flair. This match was almost 30 minutes. It had to be 30 minutes. Near fall. She hit a riptide early in the match, couldn't get the 3 count. It was back and forth. And in the style of her father, Charlotte Flair, she worked on the leg of Rhea Ripley. And then she came storming back. It was back and forth. And then finally, Charlotte Flair becomes your new NXT Women's Champion via submission. This match gets an A-. But B-Live, the question has to be asked. So now that we got Charlotte Flair in NXT, what does this mean for everything else in the women's division?
Well, here's one thing that I get it, but I still don't get it. Like, NXT is what it is right now because it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at first when NXT was introduced, it was a developmental brand.
Yep.
It was a developmental brand, and you get it. So you got fresh new faces that are trying to make their way up and move up and everything. They're learning, and the NXT crowd was always. I mean, it was just. It wasn't a traveling show. It was basically you had a house crowd feel. You had your crowd favorites. You had this and that. You watching people grow.
Mm-hmm.
But as time has passed, it's developed into its own entity with its own characters that made it unique from the major, quote unquote, major brands of Raw and SmackDown.
Mm.
So it's one of those things where that uniqueness that NXT had, I think, in my mind, would carry the brand on its own if being essentially an equal brand to Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Charlotte Flair moving to NXT, it's a power move because NXT is in the center of the Wednesday Night Wars with AEW.
Yep.
So I think this is just a thought. One thing that NXT has leaps and bounds over AEW is their women's division. The women's division in NXT is leaps and bounds better than AEW.
Loaded.
So I think that might be an over-the-top move to even further push the NXT brand and build a feud either between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. I think I would have thought for a second that Bianca Belair would be part of that as well, but there's spoiler alert. There was something hinted toward later on in day 2 that leads me believe that Bianca Belair may be headed to Raw. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think Charlotte being with, I think her moving to NXT not only is a power move for the women's division in NXT, which I didn't think they needed, but it was also, I think it leads to the long agenda of Charlotte Flair eventually becoming the all-time leader in championships. I honestly think right now that ship is sailed. I thought it was going to be John Cena. I thought John Cena was going to essentially be the one that passed Ric Flair. That still might be a possibility. But just the way that's something else that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But it with her winning that title, it just adds to the amount of titles because now Charlotte Flair has 11.
It's 11.
That's only 5 away.
Yeah.
So
11 and like what? How long she been? What? 2015 she been on the roster?
Yeah,
the main roster. Yeah.
She's got plenty of years in her career. Plenty of years. She's not going anywhere.
Nope. Not no time soon. All right. Next match we got Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Lana came out there with her hair, not the usual blonde hair, looked real different. Lana, who I call CJ from Florida. Because her name is CJ. In real life, she's from Florida. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way right now. We, as wrestling fans, we have nothing but respect for the athletes that portray these characters. All right. We have nothing but respect. And tonight, everyone involved in both nights 1 and 2, nothing but just very professional. We have nothing but the utmost respect for you. But we just have questions about the character and the direction and what's next. As wrestling fans, that's what we do. So it's not to trash the people, the people themselves. It's just the character and okay, what's going on here? This match gets a B as towards the end of the match. Lana calls for the spear, and like any good husband listens to his wife. Only gets his face kicked off by Aleister Black with a black mass kick. 1, 2, 3. This match gets a B minus. Be Live, you got anything to say about this match?
I have a lot to say about this match, but I'm going to say it very simply put. Why? Why? There was no reason for this match to even happen to start with. It was thrown together. There was no promos. There's no storyline behind it. The only purpose that this match it served 2 purposes. It maybe put over Aleister Black a little bit more than what he was already.
Mm-hmm.
But it basically destroyed the marriage of Lana and Lashley that WWE Creative is realizing was a stupid idea to start with.
Oh God, it's so dumb. It was
dumb
from day one.
It
from
was
October.
God.
It was dumb,
and so just wrong. And so this was right now. I'm watching a little piece of Raw. Raw after WrestleMania right now as we're recording, and part of the show was Lana and Bobby Lashley arguing. They're going to bury this wedding They're gonna bury it. It's gonna be terrible. B minus that that it was graded by CBSSports.com
Mm-hmm.
is a farce. Is the just dumb. I
Earth. It gets an Earth.
I, I'll give it a D just because there was parts of the match where it's a match, so they performed.
Yep.
But just what? Just why? Again, why?
As CBS said, the match had poor fortune of following Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Yeah. It's also, I guess this goes to show that, obviously Aleister Black is the smaller of the two men. It goes to show that, hey, he can hang with the big man. He can hang with the big man. And Aleister Black is something special. I remember seeing him when they came up here to NXT in Cleveland because wrestling comes through here a lot. I've been to like 3 or 4 WWE shows and the AEW show, and it was great. It was great. Except for I went to this one AEW show, and the girl would just quit screaming. I'm like, oh my God, you can tell the difference between WWE fans and AEW indie wrestling fans. I'm not saying that to be an a-hole. I'm just being completely honest. You know what? When we're allowed to go outside and play again, go to a Monday Night Raw event or WWE event. Wait a week or two, a month or two, then go to an AEW event. A whole different cast of characters. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Another match I was looking forward to, especially after what transpired on Friday Night SmackDown, Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. They gave this match a C+. I'm going to give it a C even because we were... For a while, we wondered how in the hell did Dolph get involved in this situation and become Mandy Rose's boot thing, the date or whatever. But then we found out Friday nights. I don't know if you've been watching SmackDown, but some glitches, some interruptions, some envelopes, a series of lights. And finally on Friday night, everything came to fruition and said the truth will be heard. A video was played in the control center by a mystical figure. And the next thing you know, we see February 14th, 2020, Mandy and Sonya have a conversation. Mandy's like, you know what? He's big. He's very big, but he's nice. Face it up, baby. Give it up for the big guy. But then Sonya had some other intentions, which I tell people time and time again, what Sonya Deville done going through Mandy Rose's phone and giving Otis mixed signals and instead striking a deal with Dolph Ziggler behind stage, the number one reason why you put a key lock on your damn phone.
Facts.
Folks will go through your stuff. All right? So here it is. We got Sonya Deville throwing salt. The salt continues to be thrown later that night. Hey, Dolph, look. You owe me. I owe you. So we got the heels healing it up. And then we got poor Otis showing up with his hair combed to one side, his half a coat on with sleeves cut out, and 12 of the freshest roses you ever wanted to see in your life, only to find Dolph Ziggler sitting at a table with Mandy Rose, and he's pissed. All this leads up to a match at WrestleMania where we have Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. B-Live, what do you think about the match, man?
It was laughable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this match was definitely one of those crowd participation. Like people love the goofy character that is Otis.
Yeah.
Tucky. But the thing about it is that because you didn't have the crowd feel behind it, you lost some of that luster. Like, not only that one thing I did mention, Otis broke key fob. Kayfabe. That's what I meant. Key fob. Kayfabe. Key fob is the thing that cranks up your car. Kayfabe. He broke kayfabe when he was talking trash to Dolph because he sounded as clear as day. Is this what you want? I was like, whoa, bro, aren't you supposed to be lovable and goofy? And it's like, hold on, you broke kayfabe there.
They were communicating in the ring because it's no secret they talk in the ring, but we just don't see it. But see, that's the thing about it. Be Live with the crowd being there.
You don't hear.
you don't hear it. And I think at one point during the night, you can hear, I think it was Goldberg or somebody, you can hear them like wipe their feet off on the canvas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those mics pick up everything. Everything.
So,
And go ahead.
But yeah, those microphones pick up everything. But one key part of that was Baron Corbin and Elias. When Elias got thrown off of that little platform and everything, you could clearly hear he fell on a mat.
Yeah.
And not the concrete. You could clearly hear that. But I digress. The reason why I say it was laughable was because again, like I said, he broke kayfabe with that, but also it was never explained as to why Sonya Deville did what she did.
We'll find out this Friday night on SmackDown Live.
Just like, okay, you sabotaged Otis's date so that Mandy would end up with Dolph Ziggler and left you with who?
Yeah, it's just it's an open-ended angle.
I would have understood it if Sonya had a thing for Otis and was trying to sabotage Mandy. I'd have understood that. But now, after that happened, that now Sonya's in Dolph's corner.
Mm-hmm.
So what? So yeah, that was a story that they were trying to put together, and that was again one of those entertaining mid-card things that I'll never quite understand because they've sort of relegated Heavy Machinery and It's and I don't know what's going on with Robert Roode right now. Like
nothing.
So it's what is it? So you took two actually decent tag teams and put them in this silly love triangle storyline that's been done 75,000 times, but sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was an easy. I think from a storyline standpoint, it was easy. It didn't require too much heavy lifting. Hey, you got the hot, attractive, hot blonde Mandy Rose, and she was looking good in that red dress. But I digress. You got Mandy Rose, and then you got the portly, chubby, not so handsome but lovable and funny Otis, Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast 101. So Otis gets the dub. Then we go on to one of the matches that took forever and a day. Edge comes back to the ring after a 9-year hiatus. Neck feels great. Everything feels great. And he takes on former member of Team Rated RKO, Randy Orton, in a last man standing match. This was great storytelling, but if I was them, this would have been the night they finally touched each other. They finally would have came in contact. They actually would have really fought this time. You know what I mean? Versus, hey, I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna hit you 1 week. No, hit you 1 week. Hit you 1 week. Old school back in the day, they wouldn't let them lay eyes on each other or fight each other till the day of the event, because by that time you got to build, you got steam, you got momentum. Then the only thing to do is get in the ring and have at it. So this match was
long.
They fought all over the Performance Center. Weights. There was a controversial moment that they didn't bring it up until this morning, as to where there's a spot where Edge was being I think it was like a weight belt around his neck by Randy Orton, and Randy Orton like he was going to hang him. Reason that is controversial. I didn't find it controversial because I wasn't thinking at the time.
Are they talking about Chris Benoit?
Yep. And I didn't. It didn't hit me, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because of was it
Dark Side of the
Dark
Ring.
Side of the Ring. It's too fresh now.
Too fresh.
If that had happened 2 weeks earlier, then nobody would have said a thing about it. But the fact that the Chris Benoit thing just came out, it could have been played as a dig toward it. But you say to this match being long, a lot of this match didn't make any sense.
Nope.
I get it. At the end of the day, this is World Wrestling Entertainment, and you're doing all this stuff to make it entertaining. But for what reason? Why are you climbing up on the trailer to do half this stuff anyway? One person is just like, oh, you know what? I'm getting beat down here. You know what? I'm gonna climb up here and get beat up here too. For what? There was so many different directions you could have gone besides up. And and then just somebody's truck just randomly being back there. And it's just like, okay, y'all doing the most, and then it could have went a completely different direction. I think it could have been better put together. It didn't have to be as long as it was. And I don't know. It's just because it was so long. It kept getting drawn out, and the way it ended on top of the trailer, it could have ended so many different ways. I was waiting on Edge to spear Randy Orton through the truck.
Yep.
It probably broke his neck anyway. But I don't know. It just didn't make sense. I get it. It was hard fought, all kinds of stuff thrown here, there, and everywhere. But it just seemed messy and long.
You know what, man? I feel for Edge. I really do, because you've waited 9 years to come back to WrestleMania, but then that damn Rona.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was another match that was so meant for a live crowd.
Yeah,
that was definitely meant for a live crowd. That was definitely meant for a lot more people to be back behind the scenes.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there.
Because think about it, I had no idea. This was one of the best kept secrets of the last 10 years. Him coming back, because we had no idea he was coming back. We had no idea. And they had to keep it quiet on the lock, on the key. And then when he came back during the Royal Rumble, and you think you know me, they heard the music, be like, my drink almost hit the ground, and I got goosebumps. And then to see the reaction when he came through the smoke, I thought he was going to cry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, he taking all this in. Oh, this is it. You got 60,000 people screaming like, I didn't expect this. I didn't, see this. Think about it, be live. 2020, that's the same day that Kobe Bryant died. Yeah, this is the same day that Kobe Bryant died, and then Edge comes back. So it's emotions all over the place. 2020 has been a mug so far. I ain't gonna lie to you.
But yeah, hopefully, this is something that we could definitely revisit at SummerSlam, because Edge deserves SummerSlam should be the new WrestleMania for this year. I think that again, getting the crowd back into it and rebuilding some of these storylines. I like the Edge versus Randy Orton storyline.
It was great.
I liked it. This was the epitome of Randy Orton being a heel, and he pulled it off perfectly. And it was set up. I honestly, out of everything that was built up for WrestleMania, this was the match I was looking most forward to until it wasn't.
Yeah, coronavirus.
Right.
Damn you. Messed it all up for us. So, I think I heard somewhere today it was the second longest match in the history of WrestleMania. The first longest match, first place goes to Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, the Iron Man match. So, yeah, it's another long one. So then we have another segment involving the 24/7 championship. Mojo ran out from the backstage area trying to run from everybody. B-Dot was there. I was there. The Boogeyman was there. And then Gronk said, "Hey, guess what I'm going to do? Time for me to be a spot monkey, and I'm fitting to jump." So he jumps onto a crowd of wrestlers. And after the dive, he gets the 1, the 2, a 3, and Rob Gronkowski, a member of the NFL all-time greatest 100 players team, is now your new 24/7 champion.
So, and on top of that, they did not care one bit about social distancing.
Be like that's the question. I'm like, I don't know if they sprayed them down on the way back with Lysol or what. I'm like, that's a lot of people. That's not 6 feet.
Right.
That is elbow to face to foot to kneecap to backside. I don't like this.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure all those guys are vetted and taking the test or whatever. But again, that was another one of those that they always have those moments in WrestleMania that the guest star and whatever has their moment, and like it's already been reported that Gronk has signed a contract with WWE, so he's gonna be there for a minute. I'm gonna need them to change his music because that's the dumbest music I've ever heard. The dumbest. I'm just need something completely different. Yeah, and somehow, I mean, again, at the end of the day, there's going to be a Gronk versus Mojo feud. You already see that.
Yep.
And then, I mean, I would hope so. Then, of course, you somehow, some way, you got to have R-Truth involved because the 24/7, 48/7, 365, 7-Eleven, European.
That's Sugar City. European Intercontinental Open Weight. What?
Somehow you've got to have R-Truth involved in that. You just have to because he's made that title. I'm still trying to figure out. So they wrote off. What's the other dude that somehow just became the 24/7 champion?
Riddick Moss.
Yeah, he's a former football player. Maybe they do something a little bit better with him, bring him into a rivalry with Gronk, and make a mess of that too. I don't know.
If that's the case, go ahead and get what's his name? D.O. Madden. He was a former football player too. What's the guy named Sabby Piscatelli, also known as Tino Sabatini NXT. Grab him up too. Get Baron Corbin. He used to play football as well too. So let's just have WrestleMania all over again, where they had the football players and let's do it. Hey, history seems repeats itself. Be live, and we're well on the way of doing that.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Raw Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory. It was supposed to be Andrade, but things happened. He said, "Nah, I'm good." And Austin Theory, the 22-year-old phenom himself from NXT 22, be live. He's 22. A 22-year-old phenom with the move, also known as the ATL. He gets a shot to get into the limelight at WrestleMania. To do a career retrospective, but you know what? I was in WrestleMania, but I was in two ways like this. I was in WrestleMania, but I was in that WrestleMania, or I was in WrestleMania, and I was at that WrestleMania. And I think this WrestleMania will be known as that WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, the highlight to this one right here, again, Street Profits, I love their athleticism. I love their energy. I call them the screaming
stereotypes.
The screaming stereotypes, because he's another line of just hip hop, freaking African American wrestlers, and they're stereotypical. but they're entertaining. I do enjoy watching them. But I think the best part about it is how they indoctrinated Montez Ford and Bianca Belair's relationship into it, and where because I've been waiting on somebody to put a foot to Zelina. I'm like, how long y'all just gonna let her keep interfering in matches? Ain't nobody gonna put their hands on her.
She just running wild,
Right? Yes. And so I just saw on Raw for WrestleMania that's being shown tonight that there was a match between Bianca Belair and Zelina Vega. So finally getting to see Zelina Vega in action. Bianca and Street Profits, they won. I really didn't get to see much of it, but I just happened to get a glance at it and whatnot. But I want to see how far they're going to push Bianca, because Bianca was literally one step away from being part of that NXT championship. And I thought that she was about to get a major push, but then she looks like she's about to get moved up to Raw to be part of this feud with Zelina Vega, which I don't know that might be a step back for her. Hopefully, because she did have a little bit of momentum. Hopefully they'll give her a push at some point in time, because I think she's uber talented for the women's division. I would love to see her in the championship conversation with whichever brand. I think she can do damage on any brand. Let me see if I can clarify this. Have we had a minority women's champion?
Naomi,
Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
Okay, this thing, it just seems so long ago.
Yeah, long ago.
Like it doesn't seem like it lasts. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. I know what they're trying to do with Charlotte Flair, and they're going to do it. I'm just going to have to accept it.
Yeah.
I think that I'm okay at this point in time with the man, with Becky Lynch. I mean, it's popular, but I think it's almost to the point where it's run its course. And Bayley has definitely run its course.
You know what? I don't. We about to get into that next.
I'm sorry.
I like Bad Bayley.
You like Bad Bayley?
F them kids. I ain't hugging them kids.
Let's go ahead and talk about it, because I mean, there's not really much to talk about the tag team championship. Yeah, that is the next
next match. So we got the SmackDown Women's Championship. Fatal 5-way. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too. We got Bayley versus Sasha versus Lacey versus Tamina versus Naomi. Some people thought that I listened to a podcast with Eric Bischoff. He thought it was going to be the pee break portion of the match. He said he fixed a sandwich. He talked to his wife and his kid. He took the dog out. And he came back. They were still fighting.
I think they made the best out of it, and it just, again, it leaves you scratching your head a little bit, because I didn't quite understand it, because you saw the beginning of the split between Bayley and Sasha is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's, again, another instance of something that's going to be saved for our live audience to give a little bit more of that shock and awe.
Yep.
But you're seeing the beginning stages of it. They've been talking about it forever. They've had with all the interviews and everything. You know it's gonna come. It was one of those things where I thought that Lacey was gonna get put over, and that was gonna begin the feud between Bayley and Sasha. But because Bayley did hit Sasha, so I can't remember. But what does it say? But it was one of those things where Sasha came to save Bayley yet again, which I think is also going to be part of the feud, because Sasha is always saving Bayley to win the title for all this time.
She's the heater.
Yeah.
She's the heater. She helps. She takes the heat, and Bayley does the chicken poop. I don't want to say the other four-letter word, but Bayley's the chicken poop heel, and so she does what any chicken poop heel would do best. And back, any way to hold this title, I'm gonna do it. And then the way, so Bayley wound up winning the match via pinfall. The match gets a B-, and then Bayley goes off, talks to the cameraman, talks to Michael Cole, talks to JBL. There was a portion of the match where Bayley went out in the ring. Michael Cole said something. She was like, "No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it isn't." And I was like, "Now that's funny. That's funny." Mean Bayley is cool. I think with a whole, there will be a turn, but it'll be Sasha face and Bayley heel. But Bayley gonna get a long run as heel, and Sasha Banks will eventually become a face again. It'll become a face again.
I could definitely see that, because I think Sasha has more potential now as a face. Bayley ran so long as a face and as a hugger. I think that time is that time is ended for now. It's something that could happen later on, but not right now. I agree with you that heel Bayley is something that we needed. Yeah. I think that it definitely elevated her, because it definitely elevated her and gave her more value. Like it broadened her horizon, her realm. Yeah. And so that's one thing a lot of people in wrestling don't really realize, that, oh, my favorite wrestler is not a bad guy. That's showing their range.
Yeah, got range. Because look at Big Show. Oh my God, Big Show has switched, heel face about as many times as I switched girlfriends. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. But anyways, he's Big Show's another. Oh, you want me to be a face? All right. Want me to be a heel? All right. And it's just versatility. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. Versatility, for a. Now we have to understand. Let's not forget, these are people, but these are people playing characters, and it's just they're giving instructions by creative and put their own creative in to make the character, successful. And so I think, Bayle Heely. That's the title of the show.
Bayle Heely.
Bayle Heely. Heel Bayley has a long run as a long run as a heel, because there's only so many times. There ain't no stopping. There's only so many times you can do that. That's what got you to the dance. But what are you going to do in order for you to stay? Right. This sudden change. Okay, I'm a role model now. She's become the longest reigning champion, women's champion in SmackDown history. So not only are you got a character overhaul, but you're also making history, which is good in your promos, because, hey, I'm your role model. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the longest reigning, and can't nobody stop me. But in the meantime, you can see it, because it's at the point now, you can see it on Sasha. You can see it. You can see it. They just ain't going to pull the trigger yet. SummerSlam be live.
SummerSlam, absolutely. That will be the match for the SmackDown Championship, because that's the championship that Sasha has not gotten yet. Yep. They made that mention, and it's gonna come. It's gonna come to a point probably the next pay-per-view will be your heel turn or your face turn for Sasha, and then they'll build up for SummerSlam or something like that. It's gonna happen within the next couple of months. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. All right. And the creme de la creme. Well, not the creme de la creme, but almost towards the end, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for sticking around with us. We got John Cena versus The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, in a Firefly Funhouse match. The Titus O'Neil response after the match, that said it all. Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what the hell I was getting into, and at one point I didn't know what the hell I was watching. And at one point, I just didn't know what the hell was going on, period. But I was entertained.
Oh, absolutely. And it was, simply put, it was so well put together because essentially, not only did it take the best of each one of the characters, Bray Wyatt, when his time with the Wyatt family, and then like just the history of that, throwing that into the mix. The match 6 years ago between him and John Cena, and the spiral that it took him through, and basically being rebranded as the Fiend, and what created the Fiend. Then it took us down all of John Cena's history, all the way start with ruthless aggression. With,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it not only documented Bray Wyatt's career, it also documented John Cena's career, and then on top of that, it threw in all different aspects of the WWE, and it threw in WCW in there. It just threw in so many different aspects of how far we've come in watching wrestling, all the way back to the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, it went back further than that, didn't it? What was the other part? I can't remember it.
Monday Night Wars. I don't remember, but I remember John Cena coming out to the NWO theme song with an NWO T-shirt on. I was like,
what was that one part where John Cena was lifting weights a lot? What was that an homage to? Because I don't remember.
It was Saturday night's main event, but I forgot exactly what.
Because that preceded the Monday Night Wars, didn't it? Or was that
Yeah, that was all before it. Yeah,
that was the part.
80s, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It went past it, like it was historic, and it was nostalgic, and it was like so many different things that it was encapsulated in that segment and that match. It wasn't really a match if you really think about it, but just the fact that John Cena was fighting against himself. There was an article that I wish I could find again, and it detailed that literally that match itself was all of John Cena's biggest fears.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of his biggest. Wow. Ooh.
And like, I wish. Let me see. Yeah, if I could really pull that up real quick, I would really.
Matter of fact, let's see. It said it was a wide awake nightmare. Reading the CBS article where we get a lot of our information from. It was a wide awake nightmare for John Cena, who Wyatt said would face himself. The two journeyed through various points in wrestling history and eras of Cena's career. After Wyatt made his point to Cena that the legend had been a privileged bully, wow, who was given endless opportunities in his career while Wyatt had to work for everything he had accomplished. The Fiend appeared behind Cena, locking him in the mandible claw. The Fiend drove Cena to the mat with the hold, and Wyatt's other character made a 3 count for the win. As stated previously, there is no fair way to write about this match in a small blurb, but it was a bizarre and effective way of doing something wholly unique in the history of professional wrestling and bordered on true art more than anything WWE has ever pulled off.
Like it was a production. Like it was absolutely like I'm again, when it came to that one, the cinematic theme behind it and everything, I was still side on Undertaker and AJ.
Yeah.
But it was still like, it was something where it was each one of them was something that WWE hadn't done in quite some time, and just showed the range of WWE and putting that together. And the thing about it is that I think both of those matches again were something that was put together well before like all this coronavirus COVID-19 thing happened. So that also plays a role in that. that this was something that they've been working on for a while. Like this was the Undertaker's WrestleMania moment. That didn't change how that was going to go.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Just one article I'm reading. It was a dissection of John Cena taking looks at key moments of his career and the fears that came with it. And one part of that I predicted. Yes, I did. I will lay claim to fame with that. Where I said where John Cena was basically saying about Bray Wyatt, quote unquote, that he was overhyped and overprivileged. I'm like, why does that sound like John Cena's talking about himself? And sure enough, that's exactly how they ended the segment. I'm like, I'm a genius.
And you know the fun, yep. And you know the funny thing about it, Be Live, there was a John Cena did an interview for .com, WWE.com, and it had him and Kayla Braxton, and he said some things, but they took it off of all their social networks shortly thereafter. And it was hinting about, Bray's this and he that, and he was just like, man, F this and F that. But then again, like you said, hey, privilege and da 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 da. I'm like, oh, and I've had work for everything. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Pop, what's going on? Yeah, so it makes sense. It makes sense, and the Fiend gets the win to avenge a 6-year grudge, if you will, against John Cena, because they had a point in WrestleMania 30. He's like, hit me, finish me, finish me, and he didn't do it. So now the Fiend said, okay, since you let me lay around, I'm going to come and get you. I think finally this is and then they had the Vince McMahon puppet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, that's good, 4-letter word. And I was like, wait a minute, we cussing? What the hell's going on? Wait, what is this?
Oh, it was like I said, it was well put together. I tip my hat off to John Cena because he literally allowed the creative and just basically say, hey, you dissect me all the way through and through. Like this was like legit. What I think this was as legit as WWE can actually be, because a lot of things are scripted, but there's so many behind the scenes things that wrestlers go through and what they think about their own careers and everything. It literally like dove into the mind of John Cena, and I mean it felt real, if that makes any sense of the word. Like when it comes to what we watch on TV, when it comes to World Wrestling Entertainment, this actually felt real. Like this was actually a journey through John Cena's mind and his fears. Like it was like written. It was a storybook written by John Cena that made him almost into the bad guy, and played right into the mysteriousness of the Fiend, and almost to the point where does the Fiend get another push? Which once again, I think the Fiend gets underutilized. I didn't like the way that freaking Goldberg beat the Fiend.
Should have never took the belt off the Fiend.
Right. I didn't understand that at all, but it did sort of open the door for this production.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hey, sometimes maybe creative, they're going for the long game. I don't know.
Yeah, big in the words of Dusty Rhodes, we're going for the big picture, baby. The big picture. Here we are, Be Live, at the end of night 2. The championship match between Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre. I was mad as hell because they didn't let Paul Heyman do his thing.
Right.
And he was right there. But I get it. That's a crowd interaction. There's a crowd that, that's one of those things where, hey, you need the crowd to accentuate the moment to the viewers at home. But, hey, this is a big time, big fight feel. All right, so this match was another match that didn't go, these guys will get paid by the hour, especially when it comes to Brock Lesnar. I read, because a lot of this Be Live was taped 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
2 weeks ago. And I heard allegedly Brock Lesnar had a hissy fit and call Vince McMahon selfish. Not surprised. If it's true, okay. So what's the final score? 30 Claymores to 27 F5s.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, it was carbon copy of Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Big guy against big guy, finisher against finisher. I guess finishers don't mean crap anymore because
Nope.
But the one thing that sort of left a sour taste in my mouth was after WrestleMania was over, it showed the was it WWE 24 behind Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
I watched that in its entirety, and you sort of feel for the guy.
I do.
Like, Jesus, I mean, the journey that he went through, and then just the fact that he was literally that close to not even making it back to the States for WrestleMania. He was in London when they started that travel ban.
Mm.
They called and WWE called him up. He's like, we got to get you on a plane like right now, because I mean, at the end of the day, the plan was for Drew McIntyre to be put over and become the champion. And once again, this was another thing of where this was supposed to be in front of the millions and millions. But yeah, like, and so that was supposed to be the big thing. And the feud that went on about Brock Lesnar was more or less because Brock Lesnar was like, man, I'm big time. What am I risking all this for not only for me to lose, my job right now is to put this dude over. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is not the time to put him over because there's nobody watching. There's no people in the crowd to put him over, but we're putting ourselves at risk for you to make another buck. I get it.
I get it. Yeah,
I get it. But at the same note, this is maybe one of the few times outside with Vince McMahon, like the public, we needed WrestleMania to go on, whether if it was a shell of its former self, but we still needed something.
Yeah, we needed something.
That would have been just devastating to me. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I enjoy wrestling. I enjoy the entertainment aspect of it. I'm not as well versed as you and Money Man are. I enjoy it, but it's one of those things where it was needed. It was needed. Like, it gives us something to talk about. The storylines continue, and like I said again, this is a build up towards SummerSlam, and I feel like that WWE is going to come out and do some damage with it. It's going to be it. Like, SummerSlam has always been a good production and everything, but it's always taken a back seat to WrestleMania.
Yep.
This year is going to be completely different. SummerSlam will be the show.
Yep, because think about the big four: Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series.
Right.
So now let me see, Royal Rumble, we got WrestleMania. So the next big one is, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And then because think about it, we're three papers, the third big pay-per-view. We are three big pay-per-views in. Yes, Royal Rumble. I'm sorry, yeah, Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. This will be the third one coming. I'm sorry, SummerSlam. We three deep in.
Well,
so you got to
SummerSlam is your third major, like out of the four major ones. Like I said, we had Elimination Chamber. You're gonna have Money in the Bank coming up, and I think there's another. You got two more minor pay-per-views before you get to SummerSlam. But like I said, SummerSlam is where they're gonna put they're gonna be all in, and like I said, right now that's the plan from what I just my way of thinking. I don't have any inside sources, but that's just, if I was a part of creative, that's where my mind would be at. That is where the timeline looks like. That will be the first big pay-per-view where people can go back out and see it and watch it, and let's give them the show of their lives, because we need something. That first event that we can go see or watch or do is going to be the most watched thing ever in the history of sports, because we're going to be clamoring for something.
Yeah, there's only so many times we can watch WrestleMania 34 on ESPN or Fox Sports 1. There's only so many times we can watch this. There's only so many times I can go on YouTube. Because, see, me, I'm a YouTube junkie, okay? I like, going on YouTube and just watching old stuff. Like, last week I spent like an hour watching Sid Vicious just put fools through a table or put fools through a stretcher and just be Sid Vicious. Also, while I'm on here, I would highly recommend, if you like behind-the-scenes stories, I will recommend WrestleMania. That's WrestleLiama. Well, anyways, I'll provide the link.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania.
LAMIA. Gotcha.
Yes, WrestleMania. It is an interesting take at some of the behind the scenes events that we've known about in wrestling. They talk about the deaths of Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Sherry Martel, the controversy that surrounded Fabulous Moolah, the plane ride from hell. I don't know if you heard of that one, be live. That's interesting. Watch. It's documentary style. They also talk, like I said, they talk about Benoit. They talk about the whole WWE going to Saudi Arabia. They talk about a lot of the underbelly of professional wrestling. Matter of fact, they have a 10-hour block, a 10-hour video of, they got a segment called Behind the Titantron. And it is just hit after hit after hit. It's like, wow. They even talked about the Heroes of Wrestling event that fell apart. It was so bad. They had like Jake the Snake Roberts, severely oversized Yokozuna, and how much of a stink show it was. It was wow. It was, yeah. You get a chance, I recommend that. That's my thing to recommend the listeners. Go back and watch WrestleMania one more time and check out WrestleMania. I'll provide the link. You know what? You got 10 hours to kill. You ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got nothing to do. But be like, man, I think that's going to do it for the second episode of the WrestleBros Podcast. The Money Man Scotty D couldn't be with us, taking some time off, handling business, but he'll be back with us soon, one day. We originally wanted to do a podcast immediately following WrestleMania, but hey, man, we got tired, we got sleepy. Things happen. Things happen. But enjoy this second episode of the WrestleBros Podcast. Also check out the first episode that we did last year of the WrestleBros Podcast. It was quite entertaining as well too. And also check out our other podcast, the Sports Bros Podcast, episode 54. Be live. You got anything to say before we get up out of here?
Only thing I got to say after it's all been said and done is that's the bottom line, because the Almighty Be Live said so.
They gonna come get us. They gonna come get us. You remember they tried to get us already, but they gonna come get us. Hey, you know what? If you come get us, give us some jobs. We need something to do.
Right.
And with that being said, it's been another episode of the WrestleBros Podcast. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night. Bang.